All right. Um, Former UFC NFL player shot and killed by his own father in Florida. According to authorities, Otis Anderson Jr., 23, was shot around 9:30 p.m. Monday in Jacksonville and rushed to an area hospital where he later died. A former football player for the University of Central Florida Knights who had a brief stint in the NFL was allegedly shot and killed by his own father late Monday. Otis Anderson Jr., 23, was killed late Monday during the argument with his father, Otis Anderson Sr., at his parents' home in Jacksonville, Florida, according to a partially redacted arrest report released by the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. The fight started after the former running back's father was bit by a dog belonging to Anderson's girlfriend. Anderson got into a verbal fight with his 52-year-old father, and his mother urged him to go back upstairs. Anderson's father and mother began arguing, and the senior Anderson flipped over a recliner, causing Anderson to come back downstairs to check on his mother's well-being, according to the arrest report. Anderson then began arguing with his father. The part of the report describing the shooting was blacked out, but it said Anderson had a gunshot wound to the chest and back. NBC affiliate WTLV-TV reported Anderson's mother, Denise, was also shot. His father, Otis Sr., was arrested Tuesday morning and faces 2 counts of second-degree murder, the station reported. Anderson Jr. spent 4 years with the Knights, scoring 26 touchdowns while accounting for over 3,200 total yards. He spent time with the NFL's Los Angeles Rams, but was cut in September. In a tweet, the University of Tennessee head football coach Josh Heupel, who coached Anderson at UCF, said he was saddened and stunned by his death. Tough and gritty, fun and full of laughter. He made such a positive impact on our university community and our locker room, Heupel said. He was an unbelievable teammate. He is not related to Otis Anderson Sr., who became the first running back in the University of Miami history to run over 1,000 yards in a season and was a first-team All-American. It's the best thing to do when you're in a toxic environment like this. Always remember where you came from when you were able to get out. And that way, whatever happens, you have to understand that you have to keep moving forward. You have to keep finding a way to not go back to that home ever. Take your mom with you and leave him there. I knew somebody who had to, he had to deal with a father like that, and it wasn't pretty. The father eventually passed away. Some people are just meant to stay apart. That's it. They're meant to stay apart. They can't work things out. They're meant to stay apart. And if you grow up in that environment, I know somebody else who grew up in a similar environment too. And he stays away from marriage. He cannot see himself being married. It's best when you have these type of environments, when you grow up in these type of environments, don't come back ever. Don't come back. There's nothing there for you. There is nothing there for you. You have a promising career. You got cut from the NFL. Try to cut from one team, go to another team. Do whatever you have to do to stay out of that toxic environment. That environment is not your home. Whether it's a mother and father that's being toxic, that's not your parent anymore. That is a monster. It's just like that's just what it is. Some people are not going to face their demons. They're not. Some people are not going to get the help that they need, whether it's your mother or your father, brother or sister. It's just to cut ways. That's it. I just think when he would have had a fighting chance if he just stayed away from the family. Take your mom with you, and the person that is toxic, that's causing the harm, that's not your family member anymore. Hi and bye, and keep your distance. Because look what happened here. And this guy was a promising athlete. He wasn't a dumb athlete. He had promise. This wasn't a Zach Stacy. This wasn't a Chad Wheeler. This person had promise. And he was able to be a positive human being. Most people, when they grow up in this environment, the toxicity stays with them. And others are able to flourish. But what that person don't get, what I see is like, you can't, that's not your home anymore. If you found a way to make it out of that, that's not your environment anymore. That's not an environment to come back to at all. Don't come back. If your mother was being abused, take your mother with you and leave the person that's being the abuser, leave them there. If the mother was being the abuser, just you and dad, just you take your dad and you leave the mother there. Some homes ain't homes. And some people are just not your family. They're just not. You can come from as contrary to the narrative, you could be in a 2-parent home and it could still be toxic. And like I said, people who grow up in these environments, they usually become toxic. Father abusive, son will be abusive. Mother's abusive, daughter will be abusive. He didn't turn out that way because he didn't like what his father was doing, and he was a completely different person. I just think if he had left that place, he would have had a chance. Thoughts and prayers for everybody involved. Yes, even the father who did this horrible deed, because now he has to live with that for the rest of his life. That's not going away. That is not going away. That you're going to jail, and you're going to have to deal with the fact that you killed somebody that you saw born. You killed somebody that called you daddy. You killed somebody that you held in your arms as a tiny baby, that looked in your eyes, that smiled when you smiled. His first sneeze, if you were there for his first steps, to hold his hand, to put him in bed at night, you snuffed that person. You shot him in the chest, you shot him in the back. That person, your son, that will stay with you for the rest of your life. You killed somebody that came out the womb, called you daddy, you heard his first laugh, you tickled him at night, you read to him, you count him, you taught him how to count, you taught him numbers, you taught him right from wrong, if you did. You know what he smelled like as a newborn. You held his clothes when he didn't, having memories how he used to fit in those clothes. You taught him how to ride his first bike. All of that is he's going to have to hold on to that for the rest of his life. That weight will never leave him. I'm not trying to say that to be emotional and be dramatic. That is facts. He has to live with that. And also the fact that those men in there, when they find out what he did, they're going to see their father in him, and they're going to go to town on him. He may not survive. If you like the content, subscribe to the channel. Feel it's good enough, share the content. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. Later.